In town. Gwilym didn't sleep that night. Instead, he talked to himself. This is the country. Gwilym was full of self-reassurance. Artemisia is not of us. I do not even need to confess this. Finally compromised. He confessed to sleeping with a fairy to Father Pierre. After confessing, he hung around the village for a bit, not wanting to go home. He became vastly drunk and told every man present that he had slept with a woman from under the hill. He talked about it as a form of exorcism. He had exorcised them as if they were demons by sleeping with her. Alcohol was as effective as bell, book and candle, he told Sibylla and Berta. Fairies aren't men, he told Gwilym the smith. 18 December. Under the hills, Luke was overseeing first aid, his shoulder and his beard expressing sympathy, his hand upraised. Down in the village, Pierre stopped to see what was going on and if anyone was in need of help. His right shoulder leaned slightly forward. Pierre's hand moved automatically to the healing gesture he knew so very well. He saw it in carvings all the time whenever he visited the abbey. Whether it helped or not rested with God, but his parishioners undoubtedly found it comforting. The town had arrived at a view that the people under the hill were not fairies, despite Gwilym's drunken claims, but were demons. This conclusion was largely the work of Father Louis, aided and abetted by Sibylla. Sibylla might have been influenced by the fact that Gwilym had slept with a hill woman, but had stopped sleeping with her. The town knew it had a problem. Gwilym had not told what he knew, that the strange folk from under the hill were only with them for 2 more weeks. When the townsfolk talked it through, they realised that Gwilym had given them surprisingly little information. Every time someone asked, he gave them different dates, though Lady Day had come up most often. Lady Day was insupportable. Lady Day was months away. Maybe Gwilym had invented it. We know more from the children, said Berta, than we know from that night. Her husband added, and from Sibylla's inventions, in fact, we don't know anything. We should be concerned, Gwilym the smith finally agreed. It was the 19th of December, the 4th Sunday of Advent. Even church hammered Gwilym's sins into him hard and unrelenting. Momento nostri Domine in bene placito populi tui, visita nos in salutare tui. He needed that salvation. He thought he had been tormented before, but now he could not face himself. He could not confess. He could not take back what he had done. His mind went back to his thoughts on death and exclusion. Now was the time to choose, to not be excluded. He didn't consider that death and exclusion shared a border, and that with his actions he was moving other people closer to that border. Other people had never been a big concern of Gwilym's in any case. He drew seal out and looked at it. He turned it over and back. Suddenly he tossed it into the air, and then he smiled. If the people under the hill could be exorcised, surely Gwilym's actions would be right. He had been tempted, and he had subdued demons. Exorcism would prove this. He went to talk to the priest of St. Laurent. Each time a different priest, each time another sector of the local population. Gwilym didn't analyse his own actions. He worked himself up and then confessed his sins, as he always had. He knew it was his behaviour that had got him into trouble in the first place, but he couldn't stop it. He didn't want to stop it.